The next morning story. The next morning, after a touching moment together, Caulifla F, who after so long was finally able to feel some peace, was sitting with her son, who for the very first time in his life was experiencing what it means to have a warm home. Caulifla said, "Come here, son, breakfast is ready." Sasha looked astonished and said, "All of this food is for us." Goku said, "Of course, son, go ahead and enjoy it." Caulifla F felt happy and said, "It has been so long since I saw this much food in one place." Caulifla asked, "Was the situation in the future really that bad?" Caulifla F turned serious and said yes. She said, "With Gal constantly attacking, we could never gather enough resources, and everyone went hungry." She said, "To be honest, my dear Sasha, this is the first time he has ever seen this much food gathered together." Goku turned serious and said, "I understand." He walked closer to Sasha and told him, "You will see, son, your life is going to change more than you can imagine." Sasha smiled faintly and said, "Thank you, father." The morning went on and the whole family enjoyed breakfast together until a tremor suddenly interrupted them. Caulifla F and Sasha quickly moved in front of the door, ready for an attack. Caulifla F said, "Seriously, it seems trouble always finds us." Sasha said, "Yes, mother, you are right," and drew his energy blade. Goku said, "Come on, everyone, calm down, it is nothing." Caulifla said, "Yes, stay calm, everything is fine." Goku opened the door and looked surprised. Goku said in surprise, "The two Xenos are here." The first Xeno said, "Hello, Goku." The second Xeno said, "How are you doing?" Vadas turned serious and said, "Mr. Goku, here are the kings of everything. I hope you can explain the situation to them." Caulifla F looked surprised and said, "Xeno." She smiled and said, "It is so good to see you both still alive." Daishinkan asked, "What do you mean by that, Caulifla?" Caulifla said, "You will understand soon enough." The kings of everything were left astonished at the sight of two Cauliflas, which made it clear that something very serious was going on. The first Xeno asked, "Hey, why are there two girlfriends of Goku here?" The second Xeno said, "Yes, Goku, explain this to us." Daishinkan said, "From what I can see, someone has been tampering with time," and looked over at Sasha. The first Xeno asked, "And who is that boy?" The second Xeno said, "Yes, tell us." Goku smiled and said, "He is my future son." The gods present were left utterly astonished by Goku's revelation. Daishinkan turned serious and said, "Listen closely and understand this well. Tampering with time is an extremely serious crime." Caulifla F turned serious and said, "I understand that it is a serious crime, but we did it to save everyone's life." Caulifla F began to tell them everything that was coming. The kings of everything, together with the father of all angels, could not believe what she was describing. The events were so tragic they even included the death of Xeno himself. Daishinkan turned serious and said, "If what you are telling us is true, then we are in serious trouble." Caulifla F said, "Gal once claimed he was the embodiment of the negative energy of every universe." She asked, "Is there truly nothing that can be done to stop him from ever being born?" Daishinkan looked down at his staff and said, "You are right." He said, "I never noticed such a buildup of negative energy before, but unfortunately it is far too late to do anything now." He said, "The birth of Gal is something that cannot be stopped." Caulifla F said, "Damn it, then our whole journey was for nothing." She began to cry and said, "Everything is going to happen all over again." Goku said, "Calm down, Cauli. I will not let that nightmare happen again." Caulifla F held Goku close and said, "I do not want you to die. I could not bear to watch you die a second time." Goku said, "Calm down, I will not die." The first Xeno said, "Then we need to start preparing." The second Xeno said, "Yes, it is time to change the future." Daishinkan said it would be wise to gather the strongest warriors from every universe. They will be a great help to us. The first Xeno said, "You are right." He said, "I want you to bring every angel and every god of destruction here so we can explain the situation to them." Daishinkan said, "As you wish." A few minutes later, every god and angel had gathered together. Daishinkan began explaining the situation, and none of the gods could hide their shock and fear at learning that a being more powerful than Xeno himself was about to appear. Beerus turned serious and said, "We had better start preparing for the coming battle." Hell said, "For once I actually agree with you." Daishinkan said to every god of destruction here, "It is time for each of you to grow stronger and show the power you truly hold." The gods of destruction said yes. Goku said, "Well, I had better call Vegeta so we can start training." Daishinkan said yes, and the same goes for every god here. Every god and angel along with the warriors Jiren, hit Goku, Vegeta, Caulifla, Kale, Sasha, and Caulifla F began a grueling training session, hoping to push their power even a little higher, but something strange happened. Vegeta said, "Damn it, why is our power not increasing at all?" Goku said, "No, damn it. I think we have already hit our limit." Caulifla said, do not lose heart. Caulifla F said, remember shorty, you always used to say Saiyans have no limits. Vegeta said, I think for once you are right kid. Caulifla F and Caulifla both said, who are you calling kid, you idiot shorty? Goku said, alright, calm down everyone. It would be better if we tried creating techniques that could actually help us. Caulifla said, yes my love, you are right. They all trained inside a chamber Daishinkan had created where a single day outside equaled 5 years inside, though none of their bodies would actually age. Daishinkan said, I hope all of us together can defeat that terrible enemy. Both Zeno said, yes, we hope for that too. The training day passed and every god of destruction had gotten back into fighting shape. The angels had grown stronger and the Saiyans had raised their power levels with one exception. Goku and Vegeta could not increase their strength no matter how hard they pushed themselves. Goku said, damn it, I cannot believe our power barely went up at all. Vegeta said, yes it is true. We will not be much help like this. Caulifla said, do not say that. Caulifla F said, your powers are already extraordinary. Do not give up on yourselves. Daishinkan said, it is true, do not lose hope, and pulled out a pair of black Potter earrings. Vegeta said, I cannot believe that is the only method left to us. Goku said, we have no other choice. Caulifla F stood frozen in shock staring at those Potter earrings. They reminded her of how Vegetto had once been defeated. Caulifla F said, no Goku, do not fuse. Goku asked why not. Caulifla F said, Vegetto will not be enough. Vegeta asked, is this gal really that strong? Caulifla F said, you have no idea. Goku pulled Caulifla into a hug and said, calm down, do not worry. You will see, everything is going to turn out fine. After this everyone rested for a while, but Goku stepped outside when he could not find Caulifla beside him. After walking for a bit he found her still training and she looked completely exhausted. Goku said, what are you doing my Cauli? You need to rest a little. Caulifla said, no of course not. I will not let that future my son came from ever happen. I do not want to live through what she lived through. Goku held her close and said, calm down. Rest assured we will win and we will fix everything. Caulifla said, I hope so because I could not bear to watch you die. I do not want you to die. I want you by my side always. She placed her hand on her stomach and said, and by our child's side too. Goku said, of course we will be together, and kissed her gently. He said, do not push yourself so hard because you could get hurt and that would break my heart. Caulifla said, all right, let us go home. Goku gently carried Caulifla in his arms while she stayed there blushing full of happiness knowing he would protect her no matter what it took. Some days had passed and the strongest warriors never stopped training, but 2 of them were growing frustrated after failing to raise their power at all. Goku said, damn it, why is our strength not increasing? Vegeta said, I do not know. This is so humiliating. Goku struck the ground and said, with this power we will never be able to beat Gal. Vegeta said, calm down Kakarot. Goku said, the only option left to us is to create some kind of sealing technique. Vegeta said, you are right, but the technique you use to seal Zamasu will not work against someone at Gal's level. Goku said, you are right, but I think Vegetto could withstand it. Daishinkan said he might be able to withstand the fusion, but this so-called Gal cannot simply be trapped inside an alternate dimension. Vegeta asked, what do you mean? Daishinkan said, if it is true that Gal holds far more power than Zeno, then traveling between dimensions would cost him nothing at all. He said, I even fear he could travel through time itself. Goku and Vegeta were left stunned by Daishinkan's words. Goku turned serious and said, if that is true we will be in serious trouble should the future version of Gal ever appear. Daishinkan said, I do not think he will come. To him those who traveled through time are nothing more than flies who cannot stop him from appearing no matter what they do. Vegeta said, well, at least we would not have to worry about a future Gal showing up in our own time. Daishinkan said, yes, I believe so. Goku said, fine, but then how could we possibly seal Gal so he cannot escape? Daishinkan said the only way to seal him would be inside an extremely powerful object, but I do not believe such a thing exists. Goku said, damn it, what do we do? Time is running out and we have no answers. Vegeta said, extremely powerful objects. I think I can actually name 2. Daishinkan asked, what are you thinking of? Vegeta said, the only powerful objects I know of are the Time Ring and the Super Dragon Balls. Goku said, yes, you are right. Daishinkan said, you are right, and that could either be our solution or our destruction. Vegeta asked, what do you mean by that? Daishinkan said, if we seal him inside the Super Dragon Balls, Gal could absorb their power and become a being no one could ever stop. He said, and if we seal him inside the Time Ring, then the moment Gal tries to break free, his power could shatter reality itself, and there is no telling whether the universes would even continue to exist. Goku said, I see. I think we should rule out the Super Dragon Balls. Vegeta said, but not the time ring. Daishinkan smiled and said, I see. You would rather risk destroying everything than let Gal rule over all 12 universes. Goku said, you yourself said those were only guesses. Nothing guarantees the universes will actually be destroyed. Daishinkan said, that is correct. Vegeta said, then that will be our very last resort. Daishinkan said, understood. I will send for the time ring right away. Goku and Vegeta went off to train while Caulifla, who had overheard everything, sat alone thinking about the odds of total destruction. Caulifla thought to herself, damn it, there is no other way. If things keep going like this, we will all die, and none of this will have meant anything. Feeling a little sad, Caulifla sat down on the ground, nearly losing every bit of hope she had left. Sasha walked over to her and said, calm down, mother, do not worry. Everything is going to turn out fine. Caulifla thought to herself, my son, I may never get to watch you grow up. Caulifla said, forgive me for not giving you a peaceful future. Forgive me for not giving you a world where you could feel true happiness. Please forgive me. She pulled Sasha into a tight hug. Sasha said, what are you talking about? You were always there for me. He said, even though my fate was never to live in a peaceful world, every time I watched you fight for my sake, I felt happy. He said, it might not seem like it, but knowing you will always be by my side gives me every reason to smile. Caulifla said, my dear son, you are and always will be the greatest joy of my life. Caulifla F said, and of mine as well. Caulifla and Caulifla F wrapped Sasha in a hug filled with all their love while he wore a smile full of happiness on his face. Goku watched the scene from a distance, feeling helpless that he could not guarantee his family's future. Goku thought to himself, Caulifla, Sasha, Gohan gotten, forgive me for not being able to protect you. I do not deserve the trust you place in me. Goku sat on a rock staring blankly into the distance while Vegeta simply stood there beside him. Vegeta said, Kakarot, you know we might not walk away from this alive. Goku turned serious and said, yes, of course. Vegeta said, even if we manage to seal him, nothing guarantees the technique will not drain every last bit of our life energy. Goku said, yes, but it is the only method I can think of. Vegeta said, Gal is about to appear in this timeline. Goku said, yes, and I will admit I am a little afraid. Vegeta said, do not talk nonsense. Saiyans never fear anything, and I hope you never say those words again. Goku said, yes, you are right. Vegeta said, since I arrived on this planet I have changed a great deal over the years. He said, and even though it is hard for me to admit it, staying here was the best decision of my entire life. Goku said, wow, Vegeta, I never thought I would hear you say that. Vegeta said, I hope you never bring up this conversation again. He said, you had better go be with that girl of yours. Spend every last moment you can with her, and then walked away. Goku asked, and where are you going? Vegeta said, even if it is the last time, I want to spend it with the woman I love. A few hours passed. Caulifla F stayed close to Sasha while Vegeta spent time with Bulma, Trunks, Bula, and Bula F, who would not stop hugging him. Everyone else stayed close to their families, just as every angel stayed by the side of their god of destruction. Meanwhile, Caulifla sat off to the side, feeling sad, having nearly lost all hope of winning and left with no spirit at all. Goku thought to himself, my poor Caulifla, and walked toward her. Caulifla asked, how could we possibly win this? Goku wrapped his arms around her from behind. Caulifla said through tears, please tell me how we can win. Goku said, I do not know. Caulifla said sadly, why can we never just be happy? Why can we never live in peace? Is this some kind of curse? Goku said, I do not know, but I would never trade the life I was given for anything. He said, I would not change a single part of it, because as long as you are by my side, my life is perfect. Caulifla said with tears in her eyes, I do not want to die, and I do not want you to die either. Goku closed his eyes and said, forgive me, but I do not know if I can promise you that last part. Caulifla said, I knew you would say that, you fool. Goku smiled and said, you really do know me well. Caulifla said, down to the very last detail. Goku held her close and said, I truly love you so much. Caulifla blushed and said, I love you just as much. You are the only thing I need to be happy. Goku took Caulifla by the waist and kissed her softly. Goku said, you have no idea how much I love this. Caulifla blushed and said, so do I. Caulifla said, please Goku, never leave me. Goku said, of course not. He said, no matter the place or the time, if it is within my power, I will always stay by your side. I will never stop loving you, and you will always live in my mind and my heart. Caulifla blushed and said, the same goes for me. I will never stop loving you either. Goku and Caulifla simply gazed into each other's eyes, and even if it turned out to be the last time, all they wanted was to stay right there together. The days passed and every one of the strongest warriors from across the universes gathered together waiting for Magic Gal to appear. Caulifla F turned serious and said the day has finally come. He could appear at any moment now. Sasha turned serious and said this time will be different. We are going to change the future. Daishinkan said, please my kings, it would be best if you took cover. The first Xeno said, we cannot do that. The second Xeno said, we will not leave you all alone. Whis said, I do not think there is anything we can do about it now. Vegeta said, humph. I hope this gal turns out to be a worthy opponent. Caulifla F said, please shorty, do not get overconfident. Attack with everything you have from the very start, and that goes for you too, Goku. Vegeta said, do not give me orders. Goku said, alright Caulifla. This time we will not give him a single chance. Caulifla hugged Goku and said, together we will defeat him. Goku said, of course my Cauli, and then we can finally live in peace. A few hours passed and still nothing happened. Vatus asked, hey Caulifla, is he about to show up? Caulifla F said, honestly I do not know the exact hour he first appeared, but I am certain it will be tonight at the latest. Daishinkan asked, did you not witness his birth yourself? Caulifla F said, no. We only learned about him because several angels and you yourself arrived on Earth badly wounded, almost at the point of death. Daishinkan said, I understand. The warriors kept waiting and some of them even began to doubt that such a being existed at all. Hit said, this is starting to bore me. Jiren said, same here. I might as well head out. Toppo said, I think this was a complete waste of time. The three warriors started to fly off. Caulifla F thought to herself, what fools. Suddenly the sky began to change color. The first Xeno turned serious and said something is happening. The second Xeno turned serious and said this is an incredible amount of power. Daishinkan said nervously, this is the power we are about to face. All the warriors watched as the kings of everything, and Daishinkan grew visibly nervous. Vegeta smiled and said, finally he has shown up. Out of nowhere the entire planet began to shake as it never had before. Goku said, what is this? Sasha said, damn it. He is going to destroy the Earth. The first Xeno said, it is not only the Earth that is shaking. The second Xeno said, all 12 universes are trembling from Gal's overwhelming power. Caulifla F thought to herself, please let us be able to do something. I could not bear to watch my Goku or my son die. After a few minutes the shaking finally stopped. Hit said, it looks like it is over. Jiren said, yes. Does anyone know where that guy actually is? The first Xeno said nervously, he is coming this way. Caulifla F said, get ready everyone. A few seconds later Gal appeared. Magic Gal said, at last I have found the most powerful beings, and pointed toward the two Xenos. The first Xeno asked, what do you want from us? Magic Gal said, I have certain plans, and in those plans you two are simply in my way. The second Xeno said, you had better leave now or you will be erased. Magic Gal said in an arrogant tone, go ahead and try. The kings of everything unleashed every bit of their power in an attempt to erase Gal, who was swallowed by a blinding white light that dazzled everyone watching. Goku said there is no way he survived that. Vegeta said that is true. Caulifla F suddenly shifted into Ultra Instinct and shoved Goku and Vegeta out of the way. Vegeta said angrily, what are you doing, you idiot? Goku said, why did you do that? Everyone watched in astonishment as Caulifla struggled with everything she had to hold back Gal's hand. He had moved at incredible speed, intending to kill Goku and Vegeta. Magic Gal said, you impress me. You were actually able to see my movement. Caulifla F said angrily, how could I not see it when that very movement once took everything I had away from me? Magic Gal effortlessly knocked Caulifla F back into a pile of rocks. Goku shouted no Caulifla and flew toward her and asked, are you alright? Caulifla F wiped away some blood and said, humph. This is nothing. Goku said, that bastard, and transformed into Super Saiyan Blue. He said he will pay for this. Caulifla F stopped him and said, I told you to go all out from the very start, or he will kill you in a single hit. Goku held still, heeding her warning. Vegeta thought to himself, damn it. That man could have killed us without even trying. That girl was not exaggerating one bit. Magic Gal laughed and said, is no one brave enough to attack me? Daishinkan said, this planet must not be caught up in this fight. Daishinkan unleashed a massive burst of power, sending Gal flying clear to the other side of the universe. Daishinkan said quickly, everyone hold on to me. Everyone grabbed hold of Daishinkan, and in an instant they were transported straight to where Gal now stood. It should be noted that everyone could breathe in the vacuum of space, because Daishinkan had granted them that ability for the fight ahead. Magic Gal said, well, your power is not so bad after all. In less than a second, Gal vanished and reappeared in that very same spot. Goku shouted, what did you do, you bastard? Suddenly Daishinkan coughed up blood and his whole body shook with pain. Magic Gal said, well, it seems he could not even withstand a single hit from me. Vegeta said, how is this possible? Not one of us was even able to see it happen. Caulifla said nervously, he is a monster. Caulifla F said, seriously, this is the very being we fought against in my world for 10 straight years. Sasha said, that bastard turned my entire world into a living hell. Goku said, stay calm. He will pay for everything he has done. The first Xeno called out Daishinkan. The second Xeno asked, are you alright? Daishinkan said, yes, my kings, it is not that serious. He said, everyone follow the plan just as we discussed. Jiren hit Gohan and Toppo along with every god of destruction, and their angels quickly unleashed their best techniques on Gal, who simply took every hit while smiling the whole time. Magic Gal said, pathetic. Is this really all the power you have? Whis said, damn it. He seems completely invincible. Vados shouted, come on, do not give up. Beerus said, damn it. If we keep unleashing this much power, every universe will end up destroyed. Cuz said, it is a risk we have to take. Vermaud said, I never thought I would face a true monster. Jampa said, what are you scared? Vermaud said, just shut up and keep attacking, you useless fat man. While every god and angel kept attacking Caulifla and Sasha in Super Saiyan Blue, Caulifla F in her Ultra Instinct form, Goku and Vegeta in their celestial forms, and Daishinkan together with the two Xenos were gathering every bit of that energy into a single attack. Goku said, just a little more. Vegeta said, with this much power, I doubt he survives it. Daishinkan said, I hope so. Together at the very peak of their power, they formed a sphere of energy with unbelievable strength. The first Xeno said, it is ready. The second Xeno said, he will not survive this one. Magic Gal thought to himself, I sense something very powerful. Gal watched as the strongest beings from every universe finished forming a massive sphere of raw power. Magic Gal said, oh damn it. Gal quickly blasted everyone away with his energy and turned to attack Goku and the others. Vegeta shouted, it is too late. Goku shouted, now. Goku together with the most powerful beings present launched the sphere of energy straight at Gal, who was completely consumed by that tremendous power. Magic Gal said, damn it. I let my guard down. The sphere completely engulfed Gal's body, and after a few seconds every universe began to tremble before a massive explosion swallowed everything in sight. The first Xeno shouted, shield them now. The second Xeno said, yes. That massive explosion destroyed large portions of both Universe 7 and Universe 6, but everyone remained safe thanks to the barrier the two Xenos had created in time. Goku said, that was way too close. Vegeta said, I thought I was actually going to die. Caulifla said, we did it. We actually defeated him. Daishinkan said, yes, but in exchange every one of us is completely drained. Caulifla F said, he is really gone. He has finally died. Sasha said, I waited so long for this day to come. A voice chuckled from the smoke and said, keep waiting, because today is not the day. Everyone watched in horror as Gal emerged from the smoke of the explosion, his entire body battered yet still wearing a smile as he stared down every warrior there. Goku said nervously, this has to be some kind of joke. Caulifla said nervously, this cannot be. It is impossible. Daishinkan asked, is he actually immortal? Vegeta said, he is a bastard. Magic Gal said, come now, do not lose hope. He said, I will admit that attack was excellent. It could have actually killed me had I not noticed it in time. Caulifla F said, this is never going to end. He is impossible to defeat. Magic Gal said, well, beautiful, I can see you are the only one here who truly understands how terrible my real power can be. He said, I like you. Why not join me? It would be fun. Caulifla F said, I would rather be dead than join you, you bastard. Magic Gal said, it truly is a shame for beauty like that to go to waste. Goku said angrily, do not speak to my Caulifla like that, because I swear I will tear your heart out with my own two hands. Magic Gal said, humph. I see she is your wife. How foolish of her to be with someone so weak. Caulifla F and Caulifla said together, he is not weak. He will kill you. Caulifla F said, meeting my Goku is the best thing that has ever happened to me. Caulifla said, we will never let you tear us apart. Caulifla F said, so we will eliminate you whatever it takes. Goku thought to himself, how I love you, Caulifla. Vegeta said, Kakarot, I think we have no other choice left. Goku turned serious and said, you are right. Every angel stepped forward, taking up a fighting stance alongside the rest of the warriors. Daishinkan said, we will not let you destroy the universes. The angels said, together you will be erased from existence. Magic Gal said, how foolish. Suddenly a brilliant light appeared and a silhouette began to emerge from within it. The figure said, now you will fight me. Magic Gal asked, who are you? The figure said, when Kakarot and Vegeta fuse, Vegetto appears and clenched his fists. He said, and this is the great Vegetto Celestial. Magic Gal said, magnificent. I can see you will be a worthy opponent. Vegetto said, humph. I will wipe that smile right off your face, and lunged into the attack. Daishinkan said, that is perfect. I hope he can win this. Caulifla shouted, come on, you can do this. Caulifla F said, it will be impossible. Caulifla asked, what do you mean? Caulifla F said, the same thing happened before and he was defeated. Caulifla said, frightened, it cannot be. Not my Goku. Vegetto attacked fiercely at tremendous speed while Gal dodged his blows, though not entirely without difficulty. Magic Gal said, you truly are an incredible being. Vegetto said, you are strong too. Magic Gal turned serious and said, but it is time to end this game. Vegetto said, I agree. The two of them vanished from everyone's sight. Caulifla said, they are so fast. Whis said, I cannot even track them. Daishinkan said, neither can I. They are incredible. All anyone could feel were the clashes of raw power destroying everything in their path. After a few seconds, Vegetto could be seen exhausted and covered in wounds while Gal carried only minor injuries. Magic Gal said, I will admit you are strong, but you have worn out my patience. Vegetto asked, what did you say? Gal drove a powerful blow into Vegetto's stomach, knocking him straight back down to his base form. Vegetto fell unconscious while everyone watched in horror as their last hope collapsed before their eyes. Daishinkan said, it cannot be. Caulifla said, damn it, what can we do? Caulifla F shouted, damn it, everyone attack now. In a desperate final effort, everyone attacked Gal, who simply kept dodging every blow. But while this was happening, something strange was unfolding inside Vegetto's mind. Inside Vegetto's mind, Goku said, it is impossible. Vegeta said, even like this we cannot beat him. Goku said, what can we do? A voice said, I can help you both. Vegeta said, who are you? Goku turned serious and said, answer us. The voice said, I am Vegetto. Who else would I be? Goku said, that is impossible. Vegeta said, the two of us together are Vegetto. You cannot be a separate being. Vegetto said, that is what you believe, but in truth you know nothing about me. Goku asked, what do you mean? Vegetto said, centuries ago I was a single Saiyan. A prodigy. The most powerful of them all. The strongest mortal to have ever existed. He said, but because the other Saiyans saw me as a threat, they tried to wipe me out, though they never succeeded. Years passed, and since I was not a cruel person, I simply tried to help others. But the corrupt Saiyans despised my presence, and so with the help of certain divine artifacts they finally managed to destroy me. What they could not destroy was my power. It was so immense that it was split into two parts and placed inside each of you. Vegeta said, that cannot be true. Goku said, that would mean. Vegetto said, that is exactly right. You are each only a fragment of my true power, and through fusion you can access only a portion of it. Goku asked, and how could we use all of your power? Vegetto said, you cannot. Only I am able to use this body at its absolute maximum. Vegeta asked, what do you need to make that happen? Vegetto said, your minds must merge together forever and bring me back to life. Vegeta said, but that means we would disappear. Vegetto said, that is correct. Goku said, I see there is no other solution. Vegeta said, damn it. Goku said, I hope you defeat Gal. Vegeta said, do not disappoint us. Vegetto said, of course not. Goku and Vegeta reached out and touched Vegetto, merging with him completely on a mental level. Back in reality, Magic Gal said, you are nothing more than trash. Daishinkan said, wounded, it is impossible. We cannot beat him. Caulifla F said, we could not do a single thing. Caulifla thought to herself, I do not want to die. Suddenly Vegetto's body began to glow. Magic Gal thought to himself, what happened to him? Something is different. Vegetto said, I have returned to life. He took a deep breath and said, this is incredible. Daishinkan said, there is something different about him. Caulifla asked, what is happening, Daishinkan? Daishinkan said, something has happened to Vegetto. Vegetto said, Gal, you had better get ready, because now I really am going to finish you. Everyone was left astonished because Vegetto's signature double voice had vanished entirely. In its place was a voice that belonged to neither Goku nor Vegeta. Magic Gal shouted, who in the world are you? Vegetto said, I am the true legendary Super Saiyan, and lunged straight at Gal.